Welcome back. Thanks so much for joining this edition of 726 in Mountain Home. I'm Dan Reynolds, and I'm doing it solo today. Carrie McCaig will be here next week, hopefully. She's right now in Las Vegas enjoying herself, and hopefully she'll tell me some stories that she's not supposed to tell, but you know what stays in Vegas, or what happens in Vegas stays in Las Vegas, so we'll find out when she gets back. But we miss her already, and hopefully she'll be back with us next week. Now we're going to talk with a gentleman here that's just got a new position as general manager at the Christian radio station here in Mountain Home, KCMH. Jesse Carroccio is here with us. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's good to be here.
And we were talking earlier about, you know, the initial introduction of a Christian radio station here, and you were telling me it was thought out by a group of people.
Absolutely. That's the thing I love about it, is that it's not tied to any specific church, or it's an organization of itself. It was the believers here in the Mountain Home area saying, hey, you know, there is nothing here. We need a Christian radio presence that can help to, you know, fill in the gaps between Sundays, you can say.
And it was purposely brought together as a non-denominational entity?
Absolutely. Non-denominational, non-profit. Interdenominational is actually the term that we use, because you know, we work with all the different denominational churches in the area. We are here to serve the church in the body of Christ in this area. That's what we're about.
Well, what was the initial need? I know it's good to, and a lot of people in other countries don't understand that, but you know, we're a Christian nation. Still are, kind of. You know, it's we get bombarded by new beliefs and that kind of thing, and I think Christians are more or less browbeat a lot and oppressed in certain ways for just speaking out anymore.
It's true.
40, 50 years ago, I mean, it was kind of a normal thing to see a preacher on the corner just speaking the word, but now they're arrested and prosecuted and that kind of thing. So
it's true.
In the beginning, was it? I guess my question is, this was put together in the 80s, 88.
1988 is when we first went on the air. It was actually the founder of Stanley Anderson, and that was back in 1982. And he had this vision of a Christian radio station being here in the Mountain Home area, because in this area there was no Christian radio presence at all. And he got together with some key people in the community and different people that he knew and said, you know, hey, this is a vision that I have, and you know, do you think that it's possible? And they ended up forming an organization called the Christian Broadcasting Group of Mountain Home, just for the purpose of bringing Christian radio to the area. And it was a group of people from all different churches and denominations. And with that, they, you know, assigned board members and started pursuing a 501c3 nonprofit status. Then actually went into getting the license to be able to broadcast, and at that point they just wanted to rebroadcast the Moody radio network. And they were able to do that. It took about 40 volunteers. It was all volunteer.
Really?
Yeah. And they bought some land, they put up a tower, they you know, put everything in place. There actually had to be people go out to the tower location. It's out on Buford Road, so it's out of town. And actually be there at the station to switch things. And there's an 8-track player out there. This 8-track player's been there since the beginning, and we've pulled it out just in the last 2 weeks. We pulled that 8-track player out, but that's how they did it. They did everything right there at the tower.
There's no automation, basically, what you're telling me.
Yeah, no automation. It was a big deal when they finally got this big carousel of 8-tracks that would then change
rotate the programming.
Rotate the programs and the spots. All the programming came from Moody, and then they would air the spots with this big, huge 8-track player that had 8-tracks in a big circle and would then play them in order. And but that's how they started.
So you actually sent this to a museum? Is that that what you did?
No, we have it in the station.
You need to start your own museum.
I'd like to. I really would. I set up one of the old 8-track players during our open house that we had in June. And let people hit the play button and listen to some old spots from way back when. Oh, it still works. So you can come in the station today. I've got it there set up.
That's neat.
Oh, we've had fun with that. We've had a lot of fun with that.
What you talked about in the beginning, how things worked. How's that changed?
Oh, it's changed just dramatically. You know, over the years, it was mostly just completely volunteers. Then they had to actually hire someone on as they continued to grow. You know, I think Melva Anderson was one of the first employees, you could say, of the station that helped take care of financials and take care of all different things. And then they brought in, you know, some people to do an actual live show, and that was a really big deal. You know, Kyle Sexton was one of the big. He was the main person that helped get that started and was on-air talent for years and years. And, you know, just recently, Eric Slusser has come on as the on-air talent, as well as Wade Mosier, who's a Southern gospel singer. And Eric does worship for churches and things. And so now we have both of them, and one does a Southern gospel show that's live here from Mountain Home, as well as a contemporary show that's live. And you know, we pre-record sometimes if we need to, but you know, it's really neat. And now even a new kids program on Saturdays, which is just started in the last few months. So.
Okay, and was it a learning program? Or
it's actually for kids, music. It's a kids music program. It's called Sunbeam Kids Jam, Slush Jam for Eric Slusser.
So you've been going 25 years.
25 years.
And you were telling me earlier that you born and raised in this area.
I grew up in this area. I wasn't born here, but when I was 10 years old, my family came here, and I've grown up. This is my home. I graduated in '96 here in Mountain Home.
So you've been the new manager since what, last December?
Just December.
Yeah.
Just came on. You know, Laura Shaw had been the manager for years and years, and she had cancer and just couldn't continue. And very difficult situation there. You know, it's been a transition for the radio station, and so, you know, we're just now really starting to gear back up and start to move forward. We're excited about some new opportunities in the future. And you know, as those begin to come out, I'd love to come back and share about them.
Yeah, anytime.
It's really neat. But you know, all this 25 years, you know, we're a listener-supported station. It's the listeners that make it possible for us to have that message. And you know, our whole purpose is to serve the body of Christ.
Yeah.
We are here to serve this community, to serve the churches, whatever denomination they might be. If they have events going on, we want to know so we can get the word out to the community, and free of charge. Yeah.
Well, that's a concept that we, you know, unlike cable or dish network. I mean, we're more or less a free television, but we you know, it'd be hard for me to get up in the morning and not worry about where the income's coming from. So I mean, we have sales staff and we have sales meetings, and you know, that there's a push to keep what we do free, you know.
Yes.
But you, on the other hand, have taken it a step further and don't have a sales staff.
We do not have a sales staff. We are a non-commercial station. You know, as a non-profit radio station, we can't air commercials. What we do is that businesses that want to sponsor the station, we can give them acknowledgments. Right. We can let people know, hey, you know, this business is sponsoring KCMH, and we say thank you. Yeah. We can let people know, you know, what type of things they offer. You know, we can let people know how to contact them. But that's about it. Yeah. And you know, so we've really, you know, our business sponsors are Christian businessmen who believe in the message of KCMH and want to be a part of that. And I'm so thankful for that.
Well, that's where it starts. You have a belief system, and it takes some big people out there to make that commitment to say, hey, I'm going to support these guys. Yeah. You know, and keep you going.
And we're so thankful to every one of our sponsors and supporters. It means the world to us because that's how we're able to continue. And you were mentioning about Christian influence in the world and in the U.S. today, and how important it is that truth is going out. And I'm so thankful that we're able to be here and air the truth of God. And and we do air a variety of speakers from different viewpoints and backgrounds, and we air a variety of music. We have actually extended our kids programming on Saturdays, and I'm excited about that because some of the kids programming isn't all that it was or should be. And so if you want some good family entertainment for kids, Saturdays on KCMH we have that.
Now you're on FM, and your numbers are
91.5 in Mountain Home, but we also have translators in Marshall on 90.3, as well as 92.7 in West Plains. And so that way, if you're in those areas, you can hear us loud and clear.
One goes out,
on those.
just tune to the next.
Yeah, exactly. It only reaches so far, and those help us get out a little farther and make sure that signal is clear.
Now, I didn't ask you this earlier. Is there a way to listen on the internet?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You betcha. KCMHradio.org. It's always streaming. We actually have a really neat streaming program that if you're on an iPhone, you don't even have to have a
little app going on?
You don't have to have an app.
Okay.
Most streaming, you have to have an app or you can't get it. But you can just go on our website and it streams right there. It's one of the only streaming companies that can do that.
Okay.
And but TuneIn app on any of the smartphones, you can listen to us on TuneIn. We're on there as well.
Okay.
And but yeah, we have a lot of listeners on the radio station through the website and through the apps as well.
That's neat.
And our website is also a great source for finding out what's going on in the Christian community.
Okay.
So we always have a list of events and contests, and we give away a lot of different books and different things from the ministries that we air. They in turn give us products that we can give away on the air, and so you can always be listening and maybe win something. So
that's good.
I know coming up, there's some really neat giveaways coming up in the next weeks, and even online there's a big giveaway for this month. So
good deal. Well, it's nice to meet you, Jesse.
Sure, nice to meet you.
And we talked before the show about some exciting things that are coming down the pike, and I'm going to invite him to come back when that happens.
Yes.
So you can officially announce it.
Yeah, I'm excited.
And we come back and we'll talk a little bit more. I need to come on your show sometime, maybe.
That would be wonderful. So
I might shake it up down there a little bit. No, I won't do that. Thanks a lot, Jesse, for coming.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Up next, we're going to take a break first, but with us today is Deb Smith, and she's going to be talking about a program coming up at the Twin Lakes Playhouse. Stay with us.